Hey, what's up? My name is Matt Workman, and welcome to CineTracer version 0.60. In this video, I'm going to do a quick overview of some of the things that have been changed, things that have been added to CineTracer, talk about the development and the general direction. And then there's going to be breakout individual videos that are specifically walking you through how to work with the new features and speaking a little bit more specifically about them. So, the biggest change to CineTracer probably is that there are some new maps. So I know that people really missed the old maps, and to reiterate, the reason that those had to go is because they were very old. They were the first maps I ever built when I was learning Unreal Engine, and they basically stopped being compatible with how CineTracer was evolving. So I got rid of them, kept building on some stuff, built out the block system and kind of the prefab system. But now I'm actually ready to start building maps again for CineTracer so that you can have some bigger environments or pre-made environments to work in. So let's look at a couple of the new ones. The first is Industrial here. This is Industrial 1. This is made from a kit of assets from the Unreal Engine Marketplace that looks really, really good. So much that I really wanted to add this kind of map into the game. So you can just run in here and everything should be working. The one thing is the blocking actors won't walk around yet, but everything else should be fine. So this is the second map that I've added, and this is, for all intents and purposes, just a general forest. And if you're from the Unreal Engine Virtual Production Camp, this is made from Brushify assets. And I've actually downloaded the entire, I have a little scene out here. I've actually downloaded the entire Brushify library into CineTracer, and I'll be building us different biomes, essentially, maps about this size, from the desert, from snowy environments, and kind of exteriors that are just way too big for you to build yourself in actual CineTracer. So this is going to allow you to get up and running really quickly. So here we are back on the flat map. The flat map is still kind of the central hub of CineTracer, and some stuff that we've added before we get into cameras or actors are props. So we have a palette here, like that. We have this kind of cardboard box. We have a trash bag. This dumpster is really nice. And we have a wooden box for whatever reason. So you could build kind of like, this like kind of remind me of like Valve, like Half-Life, Alex assets. So the next really big update that I've been working on are the cameras. And this has taken me quite a long time to be able to redesign the cameras so that they work better. So I'm going to bring in one person, and I'm going to grab this free camera, which is the one I recommend that everyone really start using and getting used to. So I'm going to hit 1, bring out our talent, and I'm going to hit 2 and bring out the camera. It kind of spawns in the ground, so I'll have to work on that. Shouldn't be too hard. So right away, I'm actually going to hit up. This is new and not exactly finished yet, but you can bring things up like that. I'm going to switch to editor view, and if we go up to this camera, you can actually move it with the gizmo because it's completely different than the other cameras. And this is going to allow us to do a lot of good things. But we're going to go through cameras really quickly. I'm going to have a dedicated video on it. Overall, the cameras are way more realistic now for field of view. And so you can change from APS-C to full frame. I deselected it. To Micro Four Thirds. These are kind of generic. And then I'm going to do my best to populate basically all the camera sensors there are out there in the world. We haven't done very many at all yet. This is still just kind of experimental. And so we have the different sensor size, and these are actually very accurate to the real sensor sizes of real-world cameras, which will be very important for the mixed reality framework we're building, which isn't even part of this update. But just know that that's part of the reason that this is happening. I do know that this new camera right now doesn't save, and it won't do screenshots, because the way it does screenshots is completely different than the other cameras. It's better, but it doesn't work with the screenshot system. So this is going to be kind of a iterative update of all the cameras. So I'll hop inside and give you just a quick tour of what's happening here. So the biggest thing is that if you want to change the parameters, I'm calling them now, of the camera, like focal length, f-stop, ISO, you have to hit Q and E. So E will bring you forward like this, and you'll see that I'm selecting the different parameters, and Q will bring you backwards. And so this has allowed me to add a lot more things that you can change without having to do kind of clunky combo scroll shift things that I was doing before. So this is very simple. If you don't like Q and E, you can actually use your arrow keys. So the arrow keys will move it back and forth like you would think. But if you are using Q and E, because that's kind of like the WASD way of doing it, If you scroll, that's what's going to change the parameter. I probably should have said that earlier. So I'm scrolling to change focal length. I hit E. I'm scrolling to change the f-stop. I'm going to give more f-stop increments. Scrolling for ISO, scrolling for aspect ratio, and a brand new scrolling for distance. So you can actually set the focus distance by hand. So there's a lot more to cover there as well. So that is the work in progress update to the camera system. It's taken into account a lot of feedback from users, from my personal use, and from my virtual production work. This is my ultimate real-time previs virtual production cinema camera that can be done in Unreal Engine. And we're going to be bringing this to the tripod, the dolly, the crane, and you'll be able to set points and let the camera move on its own and have different ways of controlling it. The last thing I'll show, and this will have to be its own dedicated video, is that this geared head here will actually work with the inertia wheels. And the inertia wheels are the only system that actually works to control it, but I'll make a specific video on that. Just wanted to let you know that that is updated. And as well, the Vive camera, the virtual camera with the handheld camera, that got taken out. I'm going to get right to work and update it so that it works with this new camera system. It's going to be much, much better. Let's go over the face actor and what they do. So I'm going to drag out one of these face actors, and his shoes got kind of screwed up. But again, it's more testing the system than it is the actual 3D model of the person. So when you select them, you'll see that they're blinking, right? So that's kind of new. There's also a sit and stand slider, right? So these are kind of very simple here. But it's going to increase in complexity over time, this kind of class. And there's two ways of controlling their face here. And I'll show the first one. The second one I'll do in the dedicated video. And what you can do now is do start audio. And now you'll see that when I'm talking, you see the little audio volume bar moves up and down, and it has his mouth moving. So this is very crude performance capture here, or face control, but it is a fairly automated one and an easy one. The other mode here, I guess I'll do a quick demo, is the face cap mode. So I'll show the full process of setting this up in the longer video, but I'll give you a quick little demo right now. So what you're seeing now is that the iPhone is using its depth sensor, and it can do animojis and whatnot, and the face cap app will capture that and send that to CineTracer, and then in CineTracer, I use that data to put it on different characters. And so this is just our very first one. I'm going to add more, and I'm working on building us more performance characters so you can actually do performances, and this shows generally how it works. This does actually work on Mac as well, so that's awesome. It's just the audio part just doesn't work on Mac right now. And so to wrap this up, the 0.6 update took a very long time for a couple reasons. You may not care, but I feel like explaining it. One is that we went from Unreal Engine 4.22 to Unreal Engine 4.25. So a couple updates along the way. That breaks things. Things need to get fixed. And then I kind of have to somewhat relearn Unreal Engine. A couple things change, and I just need to get used to it again. The second reason this took a while is because I went and did kind of a side project, which I think a lot of people saw, and that was doing virtual production work directly in Unreal Engine. And so that allowed me to take a tiny break from CineTracer and start a couple new projects. With mixed reality, green screen, performance capture, different cameras and whatnot, working with this, working with a bunch of new hardware, and I got to experiment and learn new things. And from that, I was able to learn a lot of new stuff about Unreal Engine, and so the core structure of CineTracer is actually a lot better now. It's a lot faster. The camera system, hopefully you can see it from this update, is going to get a lot better now. And generally, I just have a better understanding of Unreal Engine, so it was a bit of a side project, but now I'm back doing this one. Pretty much, I'd say 60% of the time, 40% is still some other stuff that I'm working on. But a lot of focus is going to get this platform, CineTracer, so that you can do, again, really fluid camera work, really good lighting, control the lighting live from external interfaces through DMX, have CineTracer control lights through DMX in the future, performance capture that you've kind of seen here, and also mixed reality, so using it for the green screen background generation. All that stuff is possible. It's stuff that I've been learning and building as side projects, and now I'm integrating it into CineTracer. There are some other small quality of life bug fixes I did, like when you selected the light, the gizmo went away. That was just bad coding, and I fixed it and figured it out. Undo, I know, is a big one. I think I'm going to be able to get it done. Basically, I'm going to rewrite how the gizmos work, and you kind of saw a preview of it of using the arrow keys to move things around. Once I do that, then I can possibly write like an undo stack, where every time you hit a key, it just tries to remember where it was before. Again, it's a tricky thing to write. I'm not that great of a programmer at that type of stuff, but I'll see what I can do and start messing around with it. It basically means rewriting the move system. Things like moving arms, stuff like that won't ever have undo. The cameras probably won't have undo either, but at least for laying things out, moving things around, I think that's where like the majority of people really want it to be. And I've also, again, decided to bring maps back. And I've gone a lot on my own and done a lot of learning on how to build better maps. The main issue with maps is that they wouldn't work for a lot of computers. So the ones I've built here, hopefully they're performant. So let me know if you're on like an integrated Intel GPU on like a MacBook Air, 1.5 gigabytes. Let me know if those load. I'm trying to keep them kind of small. If they don't, I'll try to make smaller ones. But that's basically it. Working with Brushify is going to allow me to build lots of biomes, big exteriors that all match. They look good together. They're very performant. Again, work on middle to high-end systems really cleanly, probably even the low-end ones, not sure. And just a lot of stuff coming. So if any of these updates looked interesting to you and you want to dig more into them, I'm going to go make dedicated videos about each one. And specifically VR mode, there's only going to be certain people that are interested in that because it's PC only. You need to have a VR system, so that's definitely separate. But a lot of things coming. I want to say that there's going to be more updates, but you don't have to believe me. Let's just see what actually happens. It is my intention to get this system up and running because there's some projects that I want to use it for regarding the performance capture and also the mixed reality, but that will overall make the system better in general. So thanks so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys on the next one.